feels real and authentic, and I really want this blog to be real and authentic and helpful and me. I want it to be really me and genuine, and that's what I'm going to make it. So, I'm going to drink my wine while I do this. So today, I really wanted to talk about passion. Passion in business and why it is so important. And I want to talk about this from two different angles. One, passion purchasing. Two, passion positioning. And three, why they are so important together. And the reason that this is so important is because nowadays, you probably notice, there's a million, bajillion, bazillion businesses out there that have the same or similar products. And so it's really hard to differentiate and stand out. And so often when we're in business, we feel like, oh, like I need to be on every single platform. I need to be on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, literally everywhere, TikTok, whatever next social media platform they come out with next. And yeah, that's all great and dandy, but you probably don't have to be on every single platform, and there's so many different reasons that could go into that. But anyway, that's a subject for another video. The reason that knowing what you're passionate about, knowing what your audience is passionate about, that will seriously propel your business in the future. And the reason that I say all this is because we are moving towards an emotional economy. People, because there's so much competition, people aren't going to just purchase one thing over another. If they can purchase from say there's two stores, A store and B store, and they both sell the same product, but A is more expensive and B is a lot cheaper. But B sourced every single thing from really unethical places, and they have no values, and their CEO just got into a huge scandal, and it's all over the media, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, they suck, blah, blah, blah. And then company A is more expensive, but they have set values, they emotionally attract their audience, and they everything's ethically sourced. They have given so much detail to every single aspect of their business that you completely understand where their value is coming from and why they're expensive. It's not because they're expensive just because they want to make money. It's like they're expensive because they care. They're expensive because they're putting that money in places that it needs to be. They're investing in their business in a way that is emotionally attractive to their ideal audience. So when we are trying to differentiate ourselves and when we're trying to stand out in a world that is filled with so many businesses and so many different, so much competition, instead of trying to compete, I hate competing. I don't think we actually even have to compete. I really believe that, I always say like women supporting women and businesses supporting business. I really believe that we can all just work together, and like maybe this is like this utopian idea, but I really genuinely believe that we can all work together towards a common goal, towards like a better world, towards like just making successful businesses, making successful business alliances and business choices. I think that we don't have to think of things as competing with each other, but instead we can think of like other businesses and other people in business as partners and as alliance, and that's not always going to be like that, but that is just something that I really believe in, like, to the core of my heart and soul. And so the only way to stand out now is to really establish an emotional connection, and is to really play on that emotional connection. Trying to compete with prices is not sustainable long term. You will just drive yourself into the dirt, and there's always going to be somebody that can be cheaper than you, or this or that. So that's just not a valid way to stand out from the competition. And then, trying to have the highest quality product, Yes, but at the same time, there's still probably going to be somebody that has a more high quality product than you. And that's okay. Your product is just different, or your service is just different. Or maybe you don't have as much experience as them, or this or that, whatever it is. But if you can differentiate yourself in an emotional way that is aligned with you, then your audience will just come. They will be attracted to that. They're not going to compare you to somebody else because you're making them feel a certain way that somebody else isn't going to make them feel. And that's the only way to stay sustainable long term. So let's talk about an example. Ruggable. I love Ruggable. I don't know if you've heard of Ruggable, but they are seriously the best rugs ever. And no, I'm not sponsored, although I wish I would be sponsored. I would love another Ruggable. Anyway, I followed Ruggable for I don't even know how long they've been around, but I followed them for a while before I actually even purchased from them. But I followed them on various social media platforms and saw their ads. And anyway, I have a 7-month-old baby, and Gabe eats in his sleep, so that's lovely. So having nice things is hard. I want to have nice things. I really care about having really beautiful interiors, and I want everything to be nice and awesome, but I also need things to be easy to clean. So that's something that's so big for me. And I'm not going to pay $500 for a rug if I know that Gabe's going to get chocolate on it in his sleep one night, or if I know Miles is going to throw up on it, or get his baby food all over it. That just doesn't make sense to me. But Ruggable was so great. They came out with rugs that you can throw in the washer machine, and it's so great. It's you peel the rug off, and I have it in the living room right now. I seriously love it so much. But you peel the rug off, and then you just throw it in the washing machine, and it's clean. And that's their whole entire company campaign is they are circle all of their marketing around the fact that you can live your life, do the things that you need to do, and live the way you need to live. One of their commercials is this guy dancing with a glass of wine, and then he spills it all over the rug, and then he just picks up the rug and throws it in the washer. There's another picture that I saw a lot, probably because they market towards me because they know I have kids, of a bunch of kids sitting on the rug, and they're eating popsicles and stuff, and it's these beautiful rugs. They're super nice, and it's that's so great. I get the best of both worlds. I get to have a really nice rug because I value that quality, and I value all this, but it's practical in the sense that I can put it in the washing machine, and oh my God, I love that. And so that was a great product in itself. But not only did they create this amazing product, but they marketed it in a way that was totally aligned with my values as a person. So I value having nice things. I value having things set up good. I want my home to be beautiful, but I also value my family. I love Gabe and I love my son, so it's I'm gonna choose my family over paying $500 for a rug every single time. That's just what I value. But with Ruggable, I didn't have to pick. So yeah, I followed them for a really, really long time, and then when we moved into our new place, I did shell out that money, and I bought that Ruggable. And I feel amazing about that purchase because, one, I wanted it for so long. Two, I followed them for literally forever, and I followed them for I don't even know, maybe 2 years before I even bought anything. Before I even bought anything, I followed them for 2 years. That's a long time to want something, but they stuck in my mind. They were reaching out to me consistently through advertisements, through wherever. It didn't really matter what platform. It just mattered that they knew that I was their ideal customer. They knew that I valued what they had, and I was willing to pay for it because of my lifestyle that I also value with my son and Gabe. And that was, when I went to buy a rug, I didn't look at any other rugs. There was no other rug to look at. I bought the Ruggable that I've been wanting for forever, and I feel great about it, and it was a wonderful purchase. So where am I going with this? They have differentiated themselves from their competitors by attaching themselves to my specific emotions, to my values, to the values of their audience. They know their audience. They know exactly who their audience is. When they market, they're probably spending a lot of money on marketing, but when they market, well, I don't know how much they're spending on marketing, I have no idea. When they market, they're marketing towards their audience because they know who their audience is and they know what their audience values. And that's not like a slimy, evil thing to do. That is just practical, and it makes sense, and it makes everybody feel good. They feel good because they know they're making a great product. I feel good because I'm purchasing something that totally like is going to work well with my lifestyle and make me feel good all the time. It's a total win-win for everyone involved in that situation. So that's a great example of how knowing your customer is so crucial. Like, sometimes it's so crucial to know your customer before you even like make your product or your service. Like, they probably were thinking like, I don't even know, before they even made the service, they were probably like, oh, like people like who, like, you know, moms at home probably really want a nice rug, but they don't want their kids to like ruin it. How can we fix that? And then they came up with that. Like, that's brilliant. That's great marketing. That's great thinking. That's great knowing all of the different aspects involved and playing to those different aspects of emotion and passion. Now, I've talked about Rugable for way too long, but that's what I'm saying about you don't have to compete. You just have to know your audience. You have to know what they're passionate about, and you have to know what you're passionate about.